I'm Jim Barry. Welcome again to Miami Life, the show that looks at the hot topics and profiles the unique people in our one-of-a-kind town. We lead off today with turmoil surrounding the city of Miami's elections. And here's the fundamental question: when will they be? Maybe in November, maybe next year. A judge struck down a controversial plan to put off the election till 2026 and give Mayor Francis Suarez an extra year in office. And in another twist, his dad, former Mayor Xavier Suarez, says he plans to run again for the office, hoping to be reelected to a job he first held 40 years ago. Here's Larry Seward with more.
Both sides expect an appeal count current Mayor Francis Suarez among those disagreeing with the judge's ruling.
Are really in contention.
Moves to postpone November elections to next year without voter approval are on life support, crippled by a judge calling City of Miami Commission plans illegal and unconstitutional. This 16-page ruling says commissioners had no authority to change election dates, a move that would have given term-limited leaders like Francis Suarez and Commissioner Joe Carollo an extra year in office.
It was totally illegal.
Carollo is one of two commissioners to vote against it.
That's morally wrong. How can you give yourself another year with the excuses they were given? Why didn't they bring this to a vote before or after? Why was the rush? Well, the rush had a name: Francis Suarez.
Mayor Francis Suarez had no comment on the ruling, but soon after, his father Xavier, the city's first Cuban-born mayor, confirmed that he will file to take over for his son. Along with Commissioner Damian Pardo, who supported the election change, Francis Suarez shared this statement from the city attorney. It says, quote, "While we respectfully disagree with the trial court's decision, we are confident in the strength of our case and remain optimistic about the outcome on appeal."
I would really hope that they don't appeal, because they've already expended a great amount of taxpayer money and resources trying to defend what I believe is the indefensible.
Emilio Gonzalez is running for mayor. He filed the lawsuit that led to the court's ruling.
And I think that hell is going to be paid for this.
He believes commissioners tried to strip away critical rights from voters.
Commissioner Carollo and I are not on the same side.
While Carollo joined the lawsuit, Gonzalez distanced himself from the commissioner, fighting civil claims of political retaliation. While attacking Mayor Suarez, Carollo dodged questions about running for mayor himself.
I don't know what I'm going to do into the future. I took this position that I've taken because I found it so outrageous that we were going to give ourselves another year when the law clearly stated that only the people, the voters of Miami, could do that.
A judge agrees, but some city leaders are not ready to give up.
All right, we're going to take a deep dive into this issue with a person who you saw in Larry Seward's story. He got a lot of the legal wheels in motion to see where we are today. Emilio Gonzalez is the former city manager for the city of Miami. He is a current mayoral candidate for the city of Miami. So Emilio, folks on the other side of this issue say two good things would happen if you slide the election back a year. First of all, the city would save about $1 million. And secondly, they say voter turnout would be dramatically improved. Aren't those two good outcomes?
Well, I'm not sure you can prove those two outcomes. First of all, if the city really wanted to save $1 million, they could do so by stopping the payment of all these outrageous legal fees that are being paid against City of Miami politicians and administrators. That's a quick way of saving money. Secondly, we had a lady that appeared at the hearing from North Miami saying, you know what, you guys did the same thing in North Miami and we didn't see an appreciable increase in voter turnout. So it's hard to say. You can't say, hey, we're going to stop an election, we're going to cancel an election because we think that. No. The Constitution of the city says no.
Well, in 2021, only 25,000 people voted in the City of Miami mayoral race. You look at 2024, for the general election, turnout in the City of Miami was 5 times higher.
Because they had a presidential election and people were basically going out to vote for president. The reason the City of Miami has such a poor turnout rate is really because of the quality of the candidates. If you have to choose between bad and worse, I stay home. And this is some of the things that have been told to me and people encouraging me to run. We have the same people running for office forever. You could have been in a coma 20 years ago, woken up this morning and see the same names, even the same people representing your city. it's got to stop. And when you have the same people, it gets stale. Same people, same results, same policies. It's all the same.
So are you opposed to the idea of moving the election, or just in the way that the other side of the people on this issue tried to carry it out?
I have no problems with moving the election as long as the voters say it's okay. Now, there is an issue with moving the election to even number years, which is whenever there's a presidential election, if Emilio Gonzalez was going to run for city commissioner, I'm competing with funding for president, for senator, for governor. The ballot's going to be like 15 pages long, and I'm going to be at the very tail end of that. So what that portends is that only established politicians that have PACs are going to be able to join in a race. So while you may get greater turnout, you may actually get fewer candidates.
Well, Mayor Francis Flores is an established candidate, and it's been suggested that maybe he has a hidden agenda with trying to slide the election back a year, give him time to plot his political future. Do you think that's what's going on here?
You know, you would have to ask him. I just think that the idea that you can just, with 3 votes, 4 actually, tell the voters of Miami, you know what, we're going to stay an extra year. What's to say that next summer they look at each other and say, we've done such a great job, let's pick up another extra year. There's a reason why we have a city charter. The city charter, as the judge said, is our Constitution. Let's keep to it. And the judge was pretty brutal in her statements. It's unconstitutional. It's against the charter. Even the Attorney General said it's illegal and it's unconstitutional. The judge cited the city charter, the county home rule charter, the state constitution, and state statutes. It's right there in black and white.
And Governor DeSantis agrees with you when it comes to that issue. Would having the election this year further your own bid to become elected mayor?
Listen, I don't think of anything beyond this year, because I was so positive when I filed this lawsuit that we were going to prevail. I'm not thinking about 2026. This election will be November 4th, 2025. I will be a candidate. I will be the next mayor, and I'm looking forward to the appeals court, because they're going to rule again against the city, and once again, the taxpayers are going to be on the hook, defending, like I said, what is the indefensible. They are defending taking away our right to vote. It doesn't get much worse than that.
What do you think of Xavier Suarez filing to regain the office that he was first elected to 40 years ago?
He's a friend. Again, same names, same everything. I wish him well. I think that people are going to tire, I think, of the usual political class. Listen, I think we've gone from an era of politicians to an era of a political class, and now we're in an era of a political caste. And when you have a political caste, you do things like the city commission did. You abuse the voters. You take advantage of their goodwill. You almost mock them because you feel there's a certain level of hubris that, hey, you know what? We can get away with this, and they're not going to do anything about it. Well, you know what? Somebody did something about it.
Very quickly, what do you think is wrong with City of Miami politics, and how would you, as mayor, try to clean it up?
The main thing I think we have is I think people have lost respect for the city government. The city government has morphed into somewhat of a predator government, where it's the politicians against the residents. They're always looking for an opportunity to find people. Businessmen tell me that they can't get anything done. Other businessmen tell me that they want to move their businesses elsewhere, or they'd rather grow their business in Broward as opposed to stay here. We have issues with procurement. We have issues with the way our permitting system works. We have issues with the way our zoning works.
Too much red tape.
Way too much red tape. Miami today is not the Miami of the 1970s or 80s. It's a very different city, and it requires a different outlook, a different vision. We need to project a sober, wise, efficient, honest, and transparent city government, and we're not there yet.
Emilio Gonzalez, appreciate you coming in and stating your case and your position on this issue, and we'll see where it goes.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you for coming in, joining us on Miami Life. All right, up next, a different kind of summer camp. Check this out.
Girls are not as numerous as men in STEM, so it's very important to start them out at a very young age, giving them an inspiring, engaging opportunity.
Dozens of South Florida girls are getting a head start in their careers, perhaps thanks to a unique program at Miami-Dade College. You will meet the lady behind it all. And Miami's Freedom Tower approaches a major milestone. A look at its unique history and what could come next for this historic building. Welcome back. Well, you know, it's no secret that women are underrepresented in so-called STEM careers based in science, technology, engineering, and math. Well, a Miami-Dade College professor is looking to change that. Dr. M. Nia Madison's camp to make science study cool makes her this week's person of interest.
You have some light areas of stain and some dark areas of stain.
On Miami-Dade College's Homestead campus, the Microbiology Girls Club is learning about identifying the characteristics of bacteria. 24 teenagers from various schools across South Miami-Dade are taking part in this STEM summer camp. They're learning valuable lessons in science, technology, engineering, and math. In its 9th year, the camp is the brainchild of Dr. M. Nia Madison, a microbiology professor and HIV researcher at Miami-Dade College. The idea? Simple. To open the doors to STEM careers for young women.
I thought the best way to do that is to bring them into the lab as early as possible. So we've got a group of 8th through 12th grade girls who are learning all about laboratory skills, laboratory techniques, building their foundation of knowledge, doing microscopy with bacteria, and lots of other fun things. Girls are not as numerous as men in STEM, so it's very important to start them out at a very young age, giving them an inspiring, engaging opportunity to determine whether or not they'd like to pursue an education in STEM and get a career in STEM.
Candidates must apply and write an essay to be considered for the camp. Madison also visits local schools to recruit students like Karina Polanco.
Honestly, it's so hands-on. I thought mainly it was going to be like a bunch of lecturing, but it's so hands-on. Like, we have so many activities. Like, for example, here during the morning, we'll do experiments with the microscope. She'll have us like take our own samples of things, which I thought is really cool.
Karina learned how to be careful around lab equipment, and she picked up a clever way to open a test tube.
You're holding this, and then you'll have like a test tube, and you'll open it like that. And it's, I never would have thought of that. So it's a lot of physical experience more than like, I guess, facts about the cells.
Rosalinda Julian, a rising senior from Homestead High, says the camp has opened her eyes to a new potential career path.
It's been a really cool and eye-opening experience. Like, it showed me, new jobs I could have, like, because I was considering the medical field, but I didn't realize there's also like a lab side of it that I could also do to go into medical field.
Along with lab work, the students learn about topics ranging from financial literacy and crypto to self-publishing and even coral reef restoration.
Well, I wanted to make sure that there was something for everyone, so that's why it's such a diverse topic, such diverse topics and concepts in the workshops, and different types of dance for our physical activity and different types of lab skills each morning.
One workshop in particular made a strong impression on Rosalinda as she prepares to leave high school for college.
There was one particular workshop that I really liked, which was focusing on like self-care and really just learning how to take care of yourself, like going through this academic journey.
When it comes to science, the apple, it seems, doesn't fall far from the tree in Dr. Madison's family. Her daughter Zoe is at the camp, shadowing mom and giving major future scientist vibes.
I enjoy experiments. My favorite thing was the coral reef restoration and dissecting a sheep brain.
Madison's passion for science began when she was a child. As the HIV epidemic spread, she wanted to join the fight to make a difference.
I saw on TV images of the HIV pandemic all over the world, and I thought a lot of the people who were suffering from HIV looked like me, and I wanted to save them.
Madison views the Microbiology Girls Club as a way to inspire tomorrow's scientists to join the search for a cure.
That's why it's so important for me to instill a passion for science in the next generation of potential scientists so that they can take up the fight against HIV to discover a cure.
Very worthwhile effort indeed. All right, still ahead of Miami Life, it's more than just a building. As the Freedom Tower celebrates its 100th anniversary, we're going to revisit the role this local landmark played in the lives of thousands of local immigrants. Well, the Miami Freedom Tower got a $25 million makeover ahead of its centennial celebration this week. The iconic building in downtown Miami holds a special place in the hearts of so many in Miami's Cuban-American community. And Hank Tester tells us why.
It still stands tall against the massive urbanization that is 21st century Miami. 100 years ago, it was the home to the Miami-Dade News, built to impress in the Mediterranean style, headquarters for the Cox newspaper chain.
It still lights up as a beacon of hope and opportunity for our community.
The newspaper is long gone, that history replaced by something much more poignant. Workers scramble to finish a massive $25 million plus renovation of what we now call the Freedom Tower. Here, the president of Miami-Dade College, which is shepherding the project.
And this hallway is really intended to depict a journey, and it's a journey to freedom. So many that have come in search of freedom and hope and opportunity.
She's talking about the hundreds of thousands of Cuban refugees who poured through the historic building from 1962 through 1974. The federal Cuban Assistance Program provided Cuban exiles and refugees with financial aid, food, medical care, and guidance in setting up life in America. Carmen Valdivia remembers the Freedom Tower.
So they would take us there to the doctor and to the dentist and stuff like that, and that's when I first saw the building.
Cuban exile doctors were allowed to practice inside the Freedom Tower. Here the new arrivals learned English.
And that building means a life of freedom to me.
When the federal refugee funding ran out, the building fell into hard times. Disrepair, changed hands, eventually rescued by the family of the late Jorge Mascanosa. Attention to the building came during the massive 2003 memorial to the Queen of Salsa, Celia Cruz. Miami-Dade College acquired the Freedom Tower and is now spearheading the renovation, which includes digital displays and exhibits like this. Well, why the stacks of suitcases? Well, the Castro regime would only allow exiles 3 changes of clothes and not much else when they exited the island. The story not lost on Cuban-American families. This is probably, to me, the most powerful exhibition simply because in our closet there is one of those at home.
Yeah. That's where they've come from. That's where they've come from.
Plenty of history in this iconic old Miami building, and it's all going to be restored so you can enjoy it. In downtown Miami, I am Hank Tester, CBS News, Miami.
Hank, thank you so much. And by the way, the Freedom Tower is expected to reopen to the public sometime in September. We will be right back. Welcome back to Miami Life. The Rising Tide Car Wash in Margate offers much more than just a wash and a wax. It also provides opportunity and a safe haven for vulnerable members of our community. Here's Tanya Francois.
It's my life.
What would you do if you didn't have this?
I wouldn't have a job.
Andrew Deary is the reason why the Rising Tide Car Wash exists. His family started it to give Andrew a working life after he was done with school.
Started it because my brother Andrew's on the autism spectrum, and when he was in high school, it became really clear really quickly that in order for him to lead the full adult life that we knew he was capable of, we were going to have to take action.
Action turned into 3 car wash locations and 90 staff members who are neurodivergent, making neurotypical abnormal.
Because everybody fits in here, because we really are intentional about building psychological safety and belonging.
Cars have so easy for me.
Ryan Brody also works at the car wash, but if you ask him, he'll tell you the salary isn't bad either.
The best thing of having a job that is I make so much money.
I work here because I get a lot of money and I talk to the customers.
Michelle Hintz supports the business model. She's a regular customer who also happens to be a psychologist.
every time they clean a car, it starts out dirty and they can see the progress. It's now shiny and clean, like they know they did a great job. That's all we want, is to know that we actually succeeded in something.
The thing that makes me happy is cleaning cars.
The Rising Tide Car Wash has 3 locations, this one in Margate, another in Coral Springs, another in Parkland, and a 4th one set to open sometime next year in Pompano Beach. In Margate, Tanya Francois, CBS News, Miami.
All right, we love getting feedback from the Miami Life audience, and plenty of you weighed in on the major service cuts in Miami-Dade County's proposed budget for next year. There's a $402 million shortfall, and one viewer wrote that, quote, "We need Doge in this county to get spending under control." During our interview with Mayor Daniela Levine-Cava, she emphasized raising property taxes was off the table, but a couple of viewers said they want to get rid of property taxes, period. And that's certainly an issue on the minds of a number of people throughout South Florida. Keep the comments coming. You can reach us at cbsmiami@cbs.com. That is going to do it for this week's edition of Miami Life. We'll see you every Thursday for a brand new episode. It drops at 6:30 on the stream. Plus, don't forget, you can watch all Miami episodes on demand on our YouTube channel. I'm Jim Barry. Thanks so much for watching.